Buying your own home is one of the most expensive things you will do. And it's one of the most important things you'll do. And you'll hear the mantra of the American dream is to own a home. And that very well could be the case. But in the next 12 months, if you'd like to buy a home, there are many reasons why you should avoid doing that. But before we get into the reasons, I want to show you some math real quick on the main reason. The main reason would be you plan on moving in the next 3 to 5 years. But let's understand the math behind it. Let's say you're buying a home for $450,000 and you're fortunate enough to put a third down. You're going to have a mortgage balance of $300,000. Now, guys, these are historical interest rates going back to the early 70s. And as you can see, rates skyrocketed, came down, skyrocketed again. Right now, on average, we're about 7% for the average 30-year mortgage. Okay, so 7%, you can get as low as 6 3/4, as high as 7 1/4. But let's just factor in 7% here. So when you buy your home for $450,000, you have $300,000 mortgage. So at the end of 3 years, your $300,000 mortgage, you'd be left about $290,000, assuming 7% interest rate, paying down over a 30-year amortization. Now, in those 3 years, let's assume the value of your home goes up 3.5% or 4%. So at $450,000 home, after 3 years, call it 12% growth. 12% on $450,000 is $45,000 plus $9,000, $54,000. You're at a home of $504,000 value. Okay, all I did was take 12%, add on top of $450,000. But when you sell your home, you got to pay commission of 7%. You got to pay closing costs, etc. Might be upwards of 8 or 9%. Let's just call it, to be conservative, and you might be sitting there saying, well, Paul, it's too conservative. But maybe it's with credits and putting money into the house to fix something that the seller wants. Let's call it 10%. Your $504,000 is going to net you $455,000. Guys, you bought it for $450,000. You're now netting $455,000. And you might sit there and say, well, that's still a gain. Yeah, but what's your gain? $5,000? That to me is not a reason to buy a home, especially with the lack of flexibility, the pain in the ass you have to go to find an agent, list it on the market, do all these other things. And in such a short period of time, we don't know where the market's going. Where are interest rates going? How will interest rates affect people's desire to buy? Will there be a recession at the wrong time? I always tell people, when you buy a home, you should be much more aggressive when it's going to be your forever home. If it's your starter home, be a little bit more calm. Wait a little bit. And even for a starter home, I don't believe anybody should buy a home if they plan on living in it less than 5 years. I'd rather have the flexibility of renting. So what are the reasons why you might not be in a home for at least 5 years? 1, job change. Guys, we live in a global economy where people are moving all the time. My stepson moved to Dallas. Every single day, 500 people net move to Dallas. Every single day. But you know what else? Every single day, how many people move out of Dallas because they're moving to another city for another job? Every single day, how many people move in and out of cities? Guys, jobs are up and down. You could get transferred for any number of reasons. Now, we all love the idea of owning a home, but is this really worth it? This $5,000 gain at the end of the day. Even if I'm being dramatic and call it 8% cost, you're still at a $15,000 gain at best on your home. Now you've paid down 9%, you paid down $10,000, 3% of the mortgage amount. So yeah, you're net up with a better gain, but why do you want that hassle? Now, a lot of people also tell you should wait for interest rates to go lower. I completely disagree. What your goal is when you buy a home is, I want this home for a very long time. Rates are going to be what they are. The great news about locking in any rate is it can never go higher. It can only go lower. Because once you've locked in your rate, you're stuck at that rate for a very, very long time. The full 30 years of that mortgage. And that's wonderful. And if you happen to get lucky and rates fall by over 1% from where you locked it in, all you do is refinance for a small fee. If you're starting a family, you might want to hold off. If you're starting a family, you might sit there and say, Paul, I need more space for my family. Are you just going to have one child? Are you going to have 2 children? You have 3 children? Don't buy a new house every time you add a child. Sit there and decide, okay, we're going to have 1 child. We can probably get away with it right now. If we decide to have a second and maybe a third, I believe at that point with a second or third child, that's when you upgrade and buy a bigger home. I always tell people, listen, I've lived in several houses since I left college. And my most recent house at the age of 42 made me go, God, I hope this is the last time I move. I lived in another house for 12 years, and I love the idea of staying in homes for a long period of time. You build your memories there. You build your family. You keep your family there. You can do things at the house that you would love to do. If you're going to move every 5, even every 10 years, how likely are you to be to put in that pool that you want? You might not get the value out of that in 10 years. How about a little sauna, or how about a man cave, or how about whatever room you want to put in the house? If you're going to be in your forever home, it doesn't matter as much to be able to get the money out of that renovation or that extra room you put in. So wait until you're ready to buy your forever home. Now that also factors in several things. Are you in your permanent city forever? Are you at your current job forever? Will your job upgrade? Will you downgrade? These are all the factors you have to consider. And I wish it was as clear cut as saying, buying a home is a great investment, therefore do it. I used to believe that mantra. And now I do not believe that mantra. The flexibility of renting is so awesome because you sit there and when you're ready to move, you go to your landlord and say, thank you, I'm out. And that's awesome. And you don't have to worry about anything else. You don't have to worry about maintenance. You don't have to worry about capital improvements, landscaping, anything. You just sit there, make your rent payment, and you might sit there and say, but Paul, it's flushing money down the toilet. Maybe. In a lot of cities in this country now, it's actually more expensive to buy than to rent. You might have a mortgage payment of $6,000 or $7,000 a month on some house that you can rent for $4,000 a month. Or in a cheaper city, it's a $4,000 mortgage payment for a $3,000 house. Those are the things you have to really absolutely consider. Don't think it's just flushing money down the toilet. One of my idiot cousins in California used to tell me, I need a mortgage because I need a tax deduction. You need to spend $1 to save 40 cents? That makes no sense. Plus, with all the minimum deductions that happen now and the standard deduction, it's not as attractive as it used to be. And in fact, my cousin who lives in Canada, they can even deduct their interest expense. So it all depends on where you are in your life, but focus on the flexibility that you will have, especially as you're younger. As you get older and older, you're probably more likely to stay in your home. So therefore, you should make a more permanent decision on where to live. But I think one of the most important reasons not to move, do you have a lot of expensive debt? A lot of people have debt out there for student loans and things like that. And my take is, if your debt is more than the current mortgage payment, focus on that debt. Focus on paying down that debt. Because remember, whenever you have a list of debts, let's say you have debts of 3%, 9%, and let's say you have a credit card at 18%. Start paying that down. Then pay that down. And once you get rid of those, then go out there and get your mortgage. Go start buying your house. So you might sit there and say, yeah, but Paul, by then, the interest rates will be much higher. Home price will be much higher. Maybe. You know what else is likely to be higher? Your income. People don't factor in how fast their income grows between the ages of 22 and 40. It grows the fastest it's going to grow in your career, probably. So if you sit there and lock in a house that you can afford at the age of 28, what happens when you're 40 and you're making at least double that? What are you going to do? Move again? Maybe. That's 12 years later. That's great. But a lot of times people get a lot of increase between 28 and 35. And I truly, and this is coming from a guy who used to love moving, truly don't believe that moving every couple years is a good idea. And if you want to move every couple years, don't own a home. Sit there and say, okay, where can I find a nice house that I can rent? Guys, it's all over the place. Go to Zillow.com. Go to Realtor.com. You can click on for rent. Hell, go to Craigslist. Great place to find rentals. Now remember, guys, this is for buying your own personal residence. And I talk about a lot of real estate on this channel. Most importantly, investing in real estate. If you plan, or it's very possible that you can move cities, don't invest in real estate right now in your city. You don't know what's going to happen. You might sit there and say, well, I can hire a third-party manager. Don't do it. Now, one great reason to buy a home today is if you sit there and say, you know what, I can afford a cheap home, but I can also take that deal and rent it after I'm done. If your plan is to do that and stay in your city, have at it. Go buy your house for yourself for 1 or 2 years, then use it as a rental. But make sure you don't need that equity to buy your second home. That'll go to my next video, guys. If you want to buy one great deal per year, it can lead to tens of millions of dollars in net worth. Watch that. Thank you very much for your time.